Farmers today are facing rising costs, volatile markets, and extreme weather. The A Better Way to Farm podcast digs into strategies to help you take control of farm inputs and maximize profit so your farm can thrive for generations. Remember to take advantage of our free resources at abetterwaytofarm.com. Now, from America's Heartland, here's your host.
Hey guys, Rod here at A Better Way to Farm. Thanks for tuning in today. We're excited to have you take part in today's episode. You know, our goal here at A Better Way to Farm is to increase yields and improve profits. We work every day diligently to get better and do just exactly that. Today, I want to talk to you for a little bit. I've been doing a bunch of reading in magazines and seeing all kinds of stuff come up on the internet. I've been listening to some other podcasts, and all of a sudden, just in the last 30 days, here's what's gaining ground. I keep hearing people talk about reducing the amount of dry fertilizer that you put on. Now, a lot of them are talking about they're going to reduce the amount of dry that you put on because they're going to sell you an additive that costs about 50% of what you save putting on dry fertilizer. And now some of them are saying, well, you're going to reduce your dry and you're going to use this additive, and what you're going to do is you're going to use row place starter, and then you're going to use foliar. You're going to use their foliar program. And what do I have to say to that? Welcome to the party, 25 years too late. The Johnny-come-latelys who have figured out that there is a shift coming are late. And one of the things that I've seen in print once, and I heard on a podcast once, was here that really drives me crazy, and there'll be a lot more of it. And they're talking about this whole concept of, all right, you're going to buy this much dry, you're going to put this additive with it, and that's going to do wonderful things for that. And then you're going to buy this row place starter, and then you're going to foliar feed. And then they came back with the statement that I love. But everyone knows you have to put some dry on. If you don't put it on, you're going to draw down your soil test levels. And then my other favorite line is, they say you're going to draw down your levels. They say that you can't just use a liquid program. They say, everyone knows. Guys, those are dangerous statements. You know, I've talked about it earlier. When someone says they say or they said, my question is, who is they? I want to talk to they. I want to interview them, and I want to know what they are basing that on. And most of the time, they are basing it on the concept that everyone knows. Guys, you know the drill. In 1491, everyone knew the world was flat. And yet, holy cow, here we are. The world isn't flat. Isn't that amazing? And the fact of the matter is, they keep doing this. Everyone knows you're going to draw your levels down. Let me tell you something that isn't they say. Let me give you a statistical fact. I have some soil tests from one of our good friends who's been using our system. And I have his test from 2016, and I have a test from 2023, and we are in the process. We're going to compile a whole bunch of these and come up with some composite data. But let me tell you what this person, what Chris says, what Chris's test shows. It's not they. You want to reach out and call me, I'll put you on a three-way call with Chris. You can talk to they in quotation marks. Because here's what happened. In 2016, his P1 phosphorus was 16 parts per million. And in 23, and 7 years later, his P1 phosphorus was 26. Guys, that's an increase of 62.5%. We don't have to put on a dry. Now, do we want you to soil test and monitor it? Absolutely. Do I believe that the yields that were good enough 10 years ago are going to be good enough to keep you in the farming game 5 years from now? Absolutely not. Do I believe that in order to grow big yields, we're going to have to continue to improve our soil? Yes, I do. But the question becomes, how are we going to do that? And I really want you guys, if you work with us, that's great. If you don't work with us, that's fine too. I just want you guys to learn how to ask questions. And one of those questions needs to be, who is they? Who is the they that they said this? Who is the everybody? I want to see statistical facts. Show me soil tests of people who have used our program and show me where they've went down, because you can't do it. You can't do it. We've got tests from Kelowna, Iowa. We've got tests over in Van Buren County, Iowa. We're going to have tests from all over the Midwest of people and what has happened with their P1 levels, their P2 levels, their K levels, taking a look at these things. Because yes, I know, strongly I know, and I believe that we are going to have to continue to build our soils. You know, it's funny because 20 years ago, I was banging the drum that we need to be doing everything we can to build our organic matter. And I literally had people in the industry saying that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now those same people that were saying it doesn't matter are saying we need to build organic matter. They're saying we got to figure out how to do regenerative ag. So buy these cover crop seeds from us. Do this, do that to improve your soil health. I am all in favor of improving soil health. I am all in favor of regenerative ag. But you guys know exactly where I stand on this. If we're going to improve our soil health, number one step number one, stop doing what got us here. Stop using too much dry product. Stop putting on more and more and more dry. Stop ignoring the micronutrients. Stop doing recreational tractor driving. Guys, overworking our soil hurts our organic matter. And when we hurt our organic matter levels, our farms are going backwards. And it is really important. Life is it's never static. It's either getting better and growing or it's dying. And when we do too much tillage and we use too much dry fertilizer and we do the wrong things, our soil is literally dying. And then we get this cry hearing, come on, boys, it's time for regenerative ag. Come on, boys, it's time to figure out how to improve that organic matter. Those are true. But step one, quit doing what got us in this situation. Step two, figure out what we've got to do in order to make it go better as fast as we can. For some of us, we've hammered this so long and so hard that we do need to put cover crops on. But we need to make sure that we find an expert in cover crops, someone who actually has experience in this, and someone who can tell us, again, why. When someone comes selling cover crop seed, ask, why should I use this instead of that? Why is this cover crop the one that I need in my situation? And if their answer is, well, everyone knows, or that's what everyone is doing, that's not the right person. Find someone who can tell you what it is that you need to do. What cover crop should you be growing, and why should you be growing them? Then the next thing is make sure they're an expert and they can tell you when to terminate them. When is the right time? Do I need to plant into this green? Do I need to terminate it 3 weeks in advance? What is it that I've got to do? Because I had some guys last year who called and said, man, we planted into them green and it stayed really dry, and that hurt us really, really bad because the cover crops burn up all of the moisture before our other crops could grab hold, and we ended up with a problem. Guys, there's a lot to think about here. Am I for cover crops? Oh, yeah. Am I for making sure we do them correctly? Absolutely. And it is critical in order to make those things happen, to do them correctly. What's the next step that we've got to do on this? How is it that you're going to improve your phosphorus levels? How can you get a 62.5% increase? Soil test. Soil test and do the right things. Guys, I stand on this over and over again. You've heard me say it, and I'm going to bang this drum till the day I go home. And the fact of the matter is that I believe the fundamental key to good soil health, one of those keys is in micronutrients, because I believe that micronutrients feed microbial life, and it is critical that we take care of that. We know for a fact adequate boron levels help with mycorrhiza fungi, and mycorrhiza flourish where we have those. That's just the very tip of the iceberg. Guys, I know that we're going to find out how important zinc is. We're going to find out how important manganese is. Are they important for yield? Yes, they are. But we're also going to find out that they feed bacteria. Guys, we're seeing more and more and more people talk about sugar. I want to invite you to go back to one of our podcasts that we did earlier on sugar, probably been about 2 to 3 months ago, and listen to it. And listen to the facts that I found, the things that I read listening to what the USDA says about the use of sugar. Listen to what the University of Nebraska at Lincoln said in regards to sugar and soil health, regards to sugar and plant health, regards to sugar and the plant's ability to fight other diseases off. Not me talking, guys. These are universities and USDA employees talking about what the advantages of sugar are and how we're going to make it better. We know that the proper use of copper is important for plant health also. And it would go to make sense that amounts of copper in the soil that are adequate would also help with soil health. And guys, the first thing that I hear a lot of times is I'll have people who are maybe selling against us saying copper doesn't matter, or the big one that I really get a lot is, well, you know, copper is toxic. You know it's toxic. And so therefore, all of a sudden now we're against it. I get people that say, well, the micronutrients, you know, there's no good way to test for those. And I will admit to you that there are labs out there whose micronutrient readings are probably of not much value because the extraction method that you use changes everything. But guys, we've said it before, we'll say it again, life is simple. Figure out how it works and get on the right side of it. And the right side of it includes doing everything we can to improve our soil health, doing everything we can to make that soil do better, doing everything we can to improve root growth, doing everything we can to improve organic matter, because organic matter makes pore space. Pore space gives oxygen a place to reside. Organic matter holds onto water. You guys know that every point you raise your organic matter, when you go from 2% to 3%, you've increased your soil's ability to hold on to another 3/4 of an inch of rain. That's how you can become more tolerant of drought stress. And all of a sudden, you're working the right way. When you're more tolerant of drought stress, you build more roots. When you build more roots, you get more moisture. When you build more roots, you get more nutrient uptake. When you build more roots, you get more organic matter. Guys, we've just got to keep doing the right thing over and over and over. And if we're going to believe what they say, and I am believing that the industry is moving in the right direction, that they're saying reduce the amount of dry. One of the things that we keep hearing people talk about is regenerative ag. We also hear people talking about sustainability. Sustainability is important. And the number one component to being sustainable in agriculture is the ability to pay back the loans. And we have got to make sure that everything we're doing is kicking out that return on investment. It has now become commonly accepted. I see it in print. I hear it on the radio. I hear it in podcasts. These guys are talking about the fact that phosphorus that is broadcast is not very efficient. They throw around the numbers of 10 to 30%. I don't disagree with that. Depending on who you listen to, it is somewhere between 10 and 30. A lot of people will just use 20 as the average. Why do we want to apply a product that we're only getting 20% return on? Guys, the first dollar spent on phosphorus should be row placed. Why? Because our goal is to get 100% of that phosphorus into that plant and utilize it. And when we do that, we can take a big reduction in the dry. If we're willing to make some trips in foliar feed, we can make another reduction in the dry. And the fact of the matter is, as we start compiling it, as a matter of fact, I would like you, if you would like to get on a list, reach out to us, go to the Facebook page and send us a message and just type in the word soil test data. And we will put you on a list. And when we get this compiled, we will send it to you, because I think it's going to be interesting to take a look at what the averages are on people who have started with us and stopped spreading altogether. They didn't fall for the line. Well, everybody knows. They didn't fall for the line. Well, they said. What they did was these farmers went out and said, we're going to test this. We're going to see how this works. We're going to see what happens. And we're going to monitor those test levels by soil testing every fall. And when we see those trend lines and they start to go up, holy cow. Now we've figured out how to get a good return on our dollars. We've figured out how to stop broadcasting, and we've figured out how to regen. How do we get that soil to regenerate? Guys, I do want you to soil test. I don't want to bleed the levels down. I know for a fact they have to get better. And I know that we can do that. And I know together that you, working with us, can do things differently. What I'm hoping for you to get out of this particular episode, guys, is the courage to go ask why. Why do I need to put on this much dry? Why do I need to use this cover crop seed? And if the answer is it's what everyone does, wrong. Guess again. If the answer is, well, everyone knows, wrong. Guess again. If it is, we have statistical data to show it, let's see it. Let's talk about it. Because the fact of the matter is, guys, there is a different way to do this. There really is a better way to farm. And we want to encourage you to take a look at that. As we start seeing this reduction in dry and this movement, that is good for the environment. One of the people that I heard on the radio the other day, he is predicting, and I don't know if it's true or not. He's saying that in 5 years, every one of us will be going and getting a nutrient management plan, just like the guys are doing who are spreading lots of manure. In some places out on the East Coast, some of the river valleys, we're already seeing this. You can only use X amount of phosphorus. You can only use X amount of potassium. You can only use X amount of nitrogen. And how you apply that is going to be up to you. Guys, let me show you how to get in front of the curve. Don't wait until someone at a government office is telling you what you can do and then go, oh my goodness, how can I get by on only 50 pounds of phosphorus? Learn how to do it now. Ease into it. Go out and take a look at what happens when you apply a row place starter, and then come back and look at what happens when you apply a foliar feed, the right product at the right place, at the right time, at the right rate. Because all of a sudden, you can do everything that they want, and you can do it in a way that is profitable. And guys, that is sustainability. One of the things that I'm seeing a lot, and I am excited about it, is these guys are talking about the importance of foliar feeding at the R stages. And I don't disagree with that. But I still stand on the fact that based on doing this for 30 years, the first window to foliar feed is somewhere between V3 and V5 in both corn and beans. And I do believe that you can influence yield incredibly later in that plant's life, that there is a window to foliar feed out in those R stages, R2, R3, somewhere out in there. And we know this because of the work that we have done. We have the charts that we have developed that show how we can do this at the right time and make a big difference. The bottom line, guys, is that we believe strongly in the future of agriculture. We believe that no matter what happens here with the prices, that there are going to be people who flourish. We believe that you guys are the most resilient people on the face of the earth. And we believe that you can keep getting better each and every day. And we just want to encourage you to do that. Well, by the way, we are going to be doing a series of webinars throughout this year. We've had some in the past, and it is a fantastic opportunity. Some of them are open to the general public. Some of them are only for clients that we currently have. But if you'd be interested in doing that, send Karen a message on the Better Way to Farm Facebook page. Just send her the word webinar, and then we can talk about how we can get you into that. Thank you for tuning in today. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate you, and we do love American agriculture. And we look forward to working with you soon. Guys, thanks for your time, and we really do hope you're having a better day.